Yeah, we've been talking about really for the past couple of months, and Sturdy's been warning us, saying, "Listen, the transfer portal is nuts. It's portal combat. It's the Wild West. It is nuts. The money they're talking about." And he's been telling us that, listen, you're going to get to the end of May, and you're going to get a lot of guys who declared for the draft who are not going to be drafted or won't be drafted where they want, and they'll be going back to school. And for some of them, they will have no place to stay, no place to land, and there will be some bargains to be had. A lot of those names out there. One of them is PJ Haggerty, who entered the portal, went into the draft, came out, winds up going to Kansas State for less money than he probably would have gotten had he not gone into the draft, and he made his choice back in April.
No question. And we talked about this. You're going to find some guys that are bargain buys, and some of these guys are. But the other side of it is some of these guys who committed early and signed, basically said, "I'm going to take $3 million in NIL or whatever it is, and then go enter the draft." They're coming back, and it's really going to make a difference for some of these teams. I think some of these teams got some great news this week. One in the Big Ten being Michigan, when Yaxel Lindenborg comes back despite being a projected late first-round pick, because he could get that much money at Michigan and have a chance to be on a really good team. And it really changes the narrative for Michigan this year. They now move into a top 10 team and a team that is going to have a chance to win the Big Ten.
Yeah, I like the idea of doing some discount shopping because there are going to be some players. I'm not saying there's going to be a boatload of them, but there's going to be some players who will say, you know what, my best way to the NBA or to play professional basketball somewhere is to be on a really good team. And if I can augment a team and help my resume and help me look good as a player, I'll take that. And certainly, I think there are some coaches that have the charisma and the image that they can recruit somebody in those circumstances and maybe save some money. So I think there might be, I'm not saying it's going to happen all over, but there might be one or two surprises that turns out really important come March.
Talk about new trends, and Brad, you brought him up. Yaxel Lindeborg had a huge postseason in the NIT with UAB. Follow along alphabet soup here. Signs the NIL deal. Are you still following? With U of M, and then goes into the NBA draft, and then later he withdraws. We'll test you on all this later. But good point. You're exactly. It seems like that's the new trend: is find your team, get your deal worked out, then enter the draft. To your point, he's already got that money already locked in terms of any new right away. There is some cushion there because he's going to make what a late first rounder would have made in the NBA. The difference is he's going to play 30, 32 minutes a game where he would not have done that had he stayed in the draft and gone to the NBA.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that was a huge part of this. And the NIL has totally changed the way this works. Now, on the other side, you have a school like Duke who made a poor calculation, and they took Cedric Coward, and then Cedric Coward did so well that now he is getting drafted, looks like in the first round, and now instead of having him, they had to go get another young guy in Demay Sarr. So Demay Sarr is really talented, but he's not a fifth-year senior at Coward. So it's going to be young guys to pair with the Boozer twins. A little bit different for Duke than what they are having used to. Sometimes they do really well, and it just happens where sometimes you just miss on those guys. I thought the wildest story was Houston getting their guy back. They get their guard back, Milos Uzan, and then so he comes back to Houston. But they had a commitment from Pop Isaacs. Pop Isaacs then says, if he's coming back, then I'm going to go to Texas A&M. So Texas A&M is great. This is awesome. We'll take him then. It's really crazy. Even at the end of this portal season, because they went in the portal, hadn't signed whatever, they can still move around. So it's really wild. It is truly the Wild West.
So Illini fans can wait and see if Morez decides to do something different after what's going on at Michigan. It's tough. Like I said, if you're a player, if you go too early, it seems like they can like recruit right over you, and you go too late, you may be one of the last people and at the end of the music and not have a chair. So there's some risk factors here in the portal that people don't talk about, and you don't want to be that player who becomes the cautionary name for everybody else to live by.
Now, I know someone's going to ask the question, so I'll ask it for them, Brad Sturdy. If Pop Isaacs had committed to Houston, leaving Texas Tech, how can he now leave just like that and go to Texas A&M?
Yeah, so he had a commitment, but he was in the portal. So once he's in the portal now, and so I think then in this situation, he's in the portal, so he can then still move
Okay.
because he entered the portal in time. Had he not entered the portal, you couldn't move. So it couldn't have ever moved. He would. So let's say you were let's say a guy at Illinois didn't enter the portal, and then let's say Kylan Boswell, he never entered the portal, right? Illinois adds another guard, and then he's, wait, I'm going to transfer. Now he can't because the portal's not open anymore. But in this case, he had entered the portal, so he's good to go.
Yeah, it's amazing how these agents and coaches and handlers and parents have figured out how to negotiate this, and they're getting shrewder with each year. Now, again, we expect the House settlement. We expect, keyword being expect, the House settlement to be determined in Congress later on here this summer, hopefully here in about a month. And so the rules all may change at that point. But as of right now, to your point, it's fascinating to watch and to see. I was just reading on Yahoo Sports going through kind of some of the winners and losers, and they were saying maybe the biggest loser in all this process here at the end of the draft might be North Carolina. Boy, here's a school that I can't recall an NCAA tournament at-large team getting more negative press that they didn't belong in the last decade than North Carolina. It was really pretty unanimous. They didn't do well. They won the one game, the play-in game, didn't do much. That's a program right now that I don't know if you ever lose your blue blood status, but they could be in danger of that right now.
Well, the ACC doesn't have the same money that the Big Ten and the SEC have. So they're in a different way. And they got a kid. When you have a kid like Drake Powell who says, you know what, nobody really developed me and nobody helped me. It's, oh, that's not good. And then they lose Ian Jackson, who was extremely talented, and Elliot Cadeau, who really didn't maybe have a great couple years in North Carolina, a little underwhelming. So this is tough. And this is tough. The PR for North Carolina is not great coming out of this. And I wonder, is Hubert Davis going to be long for North Carolina? How long is he going to last there? Because the standard is pretty high there for the Tar Heels.
Yeah, I'm thinking about 11, maybe 10 and a half more months, and they will move on. Look, if you're at one of these really big programs and things drop under you precipitously, these programs can't afford to stay losing very long. It's going to be worse for a coach at a high prestige program if they don't perform at the level that fans expect.
Yeah, and especially North Carolina. Duke's coming off a Final Four. Don Shires, he's bought himself some time. North Carolina, not so much. I don't know if making the tournament saves Hubert Davis's job this year. It has not been a good run. He had the title game run in year one, but as we all know, it's a game of what have you done for me lately? And the answer in Chapel Hill is not much.
That's for sure. He had we talked about the championship game run, but that was as an 8th seed. He did have the really good year in 2024 where they were made the Sweet 16, but they should have done better because they were a higher seed. And then 2025, they're an 11 seed sneaking in, probably didn't belong, missed a tournament in 2023. It's very conceivable he could have missed a tournament 2 out of 4 years, if not for kind of a gift last year. So this could be 3 of 5 essentially, or at least 2 out of 5 and almost 3 out of 5. I don't know if that's good enough for the Tar Heels.
I don't think it is.
Yeah. Okay, back with more.